All right, guys, this is going to be our last section for chapter 1, terms of building blocks and all terms of geometry. So the last one is about circles. So you guys know what a circle is, but a formal definition is the set of all points a given distance from a given point. So basically what that means is imagine infinitely many points they're the same distance away from point C. So all of these points, infinitely many, kind of like when you create a line, it contains infinitely many points. That given distance is referred to as the radius, and the given point is called the center. Okay, so there's the radius, which you've heard of before, and then here's our center. Right there. Okay, so a little bit of notation on how you name the circle. The symbol is going to be a circle, and then you use the center point. So how do you name the circle? You say circle C. Okay. How do you name the radius? Depending on what this point is out here. Let's say this was B. So the way you name the radius would be BC. And of course, it's a segment, so you want to use the segment symbol. A chord. Okay, so now from now on, these are all going to be parts of the circle that we'll be using. This is going to be a line segment whose endpoints lie on the circle. So different chords that you see in this picture is chord AC, chord FD, and chord EB. Okay, and those are all segments, so you're going to name them with the segment symbol. So you have AC, FD, and EB. Okay, those are chords. Diameter. This is a special chord, okay? So this chord is going to pass through the center, and I think you've heard of this before in middle school, and this is going to be your longest chord in a circle. So this is your longest chord in a circle. There's the end point, goes through the center, there's one chord, there's the other chord. You name it like a segment, the exact same way we did a second ago. So WX, segment on top is a diameter, ZY. Tangent. Tangent is going to be a line, okay? So I'm going to highlight line because you need to make sure you use the line symbol, okay? So it's a line that intersects a circle only once at a point called the point of tangency. So we have here a tangent, that's a tangent, and then over here we have that one, that's a tangent. So how do you name it? You would say FE. And GH. And notice I'm using the line symbols. You can name it if you're referring to only the segment, but if I ever say name a line, name a tangent, you have to name a line using the line symbol. Points of tangency are going to be F, because that's where that tangent touches a circle, and G. So those are your points of tangency. That's where the tangent line touches a circle or intersects the circle. And it's only at one point. Secant. This is also a line, okay? So you're gonna have to use a line symbol. So this is gonna be a line that intersects the circle at two places. So we have one secant right there and another secant there. So we're gonna name it using the line symbol. So we have secant AB. Make sure you put the arrows, and line DC. Okay, both of those are secants. So you're just gonna have to be able to identify these on pictures and name them. Congruent circles, you've heard of congruent before. These are just gonna be circles that have the same radius. Concentric circles, this should be different or new to you. Concentric circles means they're gonna be coplanar circles that share the same center. So for instance, we have the center point right there that I just marked red, and then you have all of these circles okay? They're not the same size. In fact, they'll never be the same size if they're concentric. If they're the same size, then they're congruent. So you have all of these circles and have the same center point right there. Same thing for this example over here. If I have a red center point, you have this circle, you have this one, they all should have that same center, okay? Arc. Okay, an arc is a continuous portion of a circle between 2 points. So you can see it on a full circle, or it doesn't necessarily have to be a full circle. So we have an arc right here. And then we have an arc over here. We have this green arc. And we actually have this arc over here. So an arc is just a continuous portion on a circle. And it's not the full circle because then it would be called a circle. So it's just part of a circle. So how do you name it? You basically use the letters of the endpoints of the arc, and then you put a little arc symbol on top. So that's a new symbol for you. CE right here. And this one's going to represent this one. We'll talk about why it doesn't represent the yellow arc. Okay, that's going to go on with the next couple of definitions. So that is an arc. So there's different types of arcs. The first type of arc is called the semicircle. Okay, this is half a circle. Okay, it's an arc whose endpoints are the endpoints of the diameter. So the endpoints of the diameter are the endpoints of the arc. So we have this pink arc that I'm going to highlight again in pink. That's a semicircle. Over here, that's a semicircle as well in blue. Okay, the way you name it, oh, by the way, arcs have measures. Okay, so like this pink arc is 180 degrees, just like the angles that we work with in degrees. Arcs also have degrees. This side over here is 180 degrees. So how do you name it? You have to use 3 letters. So the pink arc is going to be arc A, D, C, and you have to follow that pattern in that order. Okay. The same thing is the other way around, C, D, A. Those are the same one. And then we can't name the blue one because we don't have another point to use over here. So we won't name the blue one, just the pink one. Okay, so if you want to put a little side note, must use 3 points or letters, however you want to say it. So that's how you name a semicircle. Minor arc. Minor arc. This is another type of arc. This is going to be an arc that is smaller than a semicircle, okay, or an arc whose measure is less than 180. So we have a couple of examples here. We have this pink arc. That's a minor arc. And we have this blue arc over here, and that's also a minor arc, okay? You're going to name these with only 2 letters. So you have arc AD with the arc symbol, and then you have arc AC, sorry, AC with the arc symbol on top. And that's how you name a minor arc. Only 2 letters. So if you want to write a little side note, only use 2 points or letters. Major arc, this is the third arc, the third type of arc. This is going to be an arc that is larger than a semicircle. So the arc measure is going to be greater than 180 degrees. So I have the pink arc that is a major arc. That's one example. There's actually a couple of them on here. Okay. You can also do maybe this major arc in blue. As long as it goes more than halfway, you always want to see where the diameter is, okay? Because that will signify if it's a major arc or not, okay? There's probably some more. I'm sure there is. How about this one here that I'm about to do in green? It can go all the way around to D. Okay, so there's 3 different arcs right there. Let me get a pen and I'll mark each one with the color that pertains to it. So the pink arc I'll do in red. You can name it B, A, C. And notice it follows that pattern, B to the A to the C. You don't want to use the D because you only use 3 letters, okay? So only use 3 points to name it, of course, okay? The blue arc the blue arc, actually, let me erase that so you can kind of see which corresponds to what. So this one was BAC. Okay, the blue arc is ADB. Okay, ADB. If you were to say ACB, it's the same one. And you can see that the first letter and the last letter are the same. Okay, same thing goes for the other one. If you wrote BAC, BDC is the same exact arc. Okay, so you may write it one way, your friend may write it another way, and y'all are both correct. Okay, the last one, the green arc, I'm starting at A and going all the way to D. So I could say A, B, D. That's a major arc. Okay, if you didn't use the B, you could say A, C, D. Okay, and you just follow the pattern of the letters. That's how you name it. So I went from A to the B to the D. That was the green arc. Okay, so you'll have to be able to name some major arcs given a picture like this. Okay, there probably might be another one, but we're going to go ahead and stop there. Okay. All right. Central angle. Where is the central angle? So a central angle has its vertex at the center. Okay, and the sides passing through the endpoints of the arc. Okay, so an angle, it's an angle with its vertex at the center of the circle, and the sides are passing through the endpoints of an arc. Okay, the measure of the central angle is the same as its intercepted arc. Okay, so here we go. Let me highlight in pink where the central angle is. There's actually a couple of them. So we have this central angle right here, and then we have another central angle right here. And it says that the sides pass through the endpoints of the arc. So this pink arc right here, there's the sides and it goes through those endpoints. Same thing over here. Here's the sides and it passes through the endpoints of this arc. And those two are related. Okay, how are they related? If this one was a 90-degree angle, well, this arc is also going to be 90. Okay, let's say this little one right here, this little angle right there, let's say it was, I don't know, 20 degrees. Well, then that arc right there is also 20 degrees. Okay. So how do you name an angle? The same way you learned to name an angle before. So the pink angle would be angle AOD. Okay, and remember it's congruent, okay, to the measure of arc AD. So those two are congruent. They have the same measure. Maybe I should put measure here. So the measure of angle AOD is equal, we'll say equal, to the measure of arc AD. So let's look at the blue angle. The blue angle, the measure of angle BOC is equal to the measure of arc BC. Okay, so we have central angles and they're related to its arc. All right, so make sure you write those down. So we're going to give you some measures on your homework, maybe even use some algebra to solve for either angles or arcs. And just remember, they're the same measure. Okay, inscribed angle. An inscribed angle is an angle with its vertex on the circle, and then the sides are chords. So let me highlight a couple of inscribed angles that we see here. So we have this angle here. You can see the sides are chords. And then we actually have another inscribed angle sharing one of those sides. So you have that pink angle and that blue angle that are inscribed angles. So the blue angle is going to be angle DCB. Okay, and then the pink angle is angle CBA. Okay, and we're not going to talk about how it's related to its arc yet. Okay, so Make sure you are able to name and identify inscribed angles in a circle. And then that's it.